chasing flashes in the pan. With my technical background, I knew that I could find work in Boston providing I could put down a security deposit on an efficiency and still have enough cash left over to dry clean my interview suit. My money marginalia in this case, did not worry me so much as the immediate problem of how to spend the 6 hours between the early riser and the techno-liner in a city I had, until then, celebrated by avoiding. It was me against motion sickness in the city that autos built. But, as sometimes happens when killing time, I would come across something in my brief Detroit layover that would kill not just 6 hours, but the next year and more before I came to terms with it. Sifting the downtown for novelties that might deaden 10 minutes, I did not imagine that the next 10 months would find me obsessed with everything I could learn about Motor City and the fifth-grade farmer who put it on the map. When I made my stopover, Detroit had already been undergoing a manufactured and heavily publicized rebirth for some time. The emblem of this new era, the Renaissance Center, may be the single most ambitious building project of recent times. Its 5 black towers outscale the rest of the city the way Chartres Cathedral dwarfs its surrounding town. 4 cylinders flank a central, massive pillar, each hanging black glass over girders in disguised international style. But if the city were not already dead, would it need a rebirth? The name Renaissance Center resembles an ad campaign declaring Sudzo all the cleaner you'll ever need, or a restaurant assuring what we serve is really a meal. And just as when telling an old widower that he looks well, we mean he ought not to push his luck, the leading citizens of Detroit, in naming the Renaissance Center, implied that they would be pleased if the city could, at this point, break even. The size and opulence of the center meant to attract tourists and conventioneers into double-A self-contained luxury. The palace executed its purpose too well. It drew people, read money, up and away from the surrounding businesses, and because the towers were so self-sufficient a village, the people never came back out. The area surrounding the Renaissance Center showed the signs of a hasty evacuation and rout. Gravitating toward the towers, I passed row on row of brick, triple-decked residences standing vacant, their windows and doors broken open to reveal nothing inside. I figured that the Renaissance Center, dubbed the Ren-Sen by those who make a living truncating all words into monosyllables, would be good for a half hour. The inside was a contemporary version of the Grand Trunk, the multi-leveled involuted architecture that had delighted me as a boy of 6 when I still believed in Tom Swift and urban renewal. I ordered a meal, reading the menu right to left in a disc-shaped restaurant floating on a moat in the central tower, spinning, gradually but perceptibly, driven no doubt by 1,000 Asian coolies chained to a mill track on a hidden lower level. My training in physics made the huge spinning plate seem an unintentional homage to the last great empirical experiment of the 19th century. In 1887, the physicists Michelson and Morley set out to measure the absolute velocity of the Earth through the ether field. The 2 scientists floated a gigantic slab on a sea of mercury, on the same scale and setup as the slab I now rode. They shone a beam of light through a prism in the center and back to mirrors on the perimeter, reasoning that light flowing in the direction of the ether stream would travel faster than light flowing upriver. But Michelson and Morley found no difference in light speeds, regardless of orientation. An international calamity followed in 1905 when Einstein, a barren patent clerk with no reputation to lose, suggested preserving the velocity of light at the expense of the concept of absolute measure. The century was off to a quick jump out of the gate. I came across an account of this experiment again much later, after pursuing the Henry Ford hoax through the infant century. But at the time, I drew the comparison casually. I waited until the disk completed 1 full rotation before disembarking. Since I don't smoke or drink and swear unconvincingly, symmetry is my only vice. Escaping from the Ren-Sen, I walked counterclockwise for a few blocks to reverse my dizziness. I sat down on the nearest set of steps. A bum approached from across the piazza and requested a quarter for some suntan oil.